Hello there, welcome along. This is Business Connections Live. It is program number 3. It's great to have your company. My name's Steve Highland, and boy, have we got a cram-packed show for you this evening. It really is cram-packed. If you're a little bit techie, you're going to love it, but you don't have to be techie. Oh no siree. If you're in business and your business is there to tell other people, to tell customers that you're about, then we've got all the information that you need when it comes to creating, developing and talking to the right people about perhaps maybe the most important marketing tool that you have, your website. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. With me, I have Paul Imrie. Paul runs his own organisation, his own company. You've been running for quite some time now, Paul.
It's nearly 10 years.
Nearly 10 years. So all the way through the recession, you're doing all right, aren't you?
Thank you very much, yes. But thank you to my customers, because without my customers, I wouldn't be here.
And I suppose that's what it's all about, isn't it? It is all about making certain that we, as suppliers, provide our customers with the things that they need. Now, you specialise in, what's it, web design?
Yes, it's predominantly web design, but our customers ask us to do other things. They ask us to help us with sometimes search engine optimization or PR activities or copywriting. So we're quite flexible and try and work with our customers to achieve the best results for them.
Right at the very top of the show, let's just go for that one. What's the biggest mistake do you think we all make when it comes to putting our websites together?
Panic.
Panic.
And assume that you don't know the subject, and assume that it's difficult, it's full of mysterious technical babble. If you were to forget all of that and think it through logically, you would actually create your own website quite successfully.
Well, I can't wait to find out more about how to create our own website. If you are thinking about putting your own website together, I mean, I work in Dreamweaver, like that. It's nice, flat, can understand it, get my head around it. Just gone on a little bit to WordPress. But we're not talking about the nuts and bolts tonight about your websites. What we're doing is we're talking about the message that your website is doing. How is it actually working? How do your customers interact with it? Is it a call to action? Remember, this is your own salesman that's out there on the web, and she is going to be telling your customers about what you do and the services that you provide. So really, if you are in business and you are looking to get maybe that edge on your competitors, then having an effective website is perhaps maybe the way to go. Now, I'll tell you what, we're going to start and continue talking about website design, SEO and everything else that Paul was just saying there a moment or so ago. But first, let's have a bit of a look back at last week and just remind ourselves of some of the topics we were talking about there. We were obviously talking to two very distinguished guests, Lynn and Gav. They came into the studio. One was talking about eBay and also using Amazon to get their product out to market. The other was talking about pure internet marketing, actually getting information out to market. So let's just have a quick recap of what happened last week on Business Connections Live.
Well, I think the term information publisher is quite a good one, but generally online entrepreneur embraces just about everything.
Hi, I'm Lynn Parry-Jones and I'm the MD of Naturals Best Limited.
Yeah, there are people who, strangely enough, will spend a lot of money on training courses, educate themselves, and for some reason they just don't follow it through to that final stage where they push the button and try and get money coming in. Something seems to hold them back, and it might be fear of failure, it might be some technical info they need that they haven't quite mastered, but something like 3% of people who get on board in internet marketing actually succeed at it. But it is a persistence business where you really have to see things through, and actually the key word is to take action.
Is it a great way to go? Is it an easy process to get selling on Amazon?
It's easy to get selling on Amazon, easy, but it's not easy to keep the momentum and keep both the Amazon customers happy and Amazon themselves. And also, if you're not 100% committed to your business, Amazon will just suspend your account. But if someone thinks they just want a little bit of sort of a tickle into the Amazon marketplace and just play around with it, you can't. eBay is more suitable for people that aren't really, if they want to run their business from the garden shed.
Buying online, there is a degree of resistance from the point of view of the buyer. So I use PayPal as my payment processor, and they're much the same as Amazon are, where they offer the buyer an unconditional guarantee. In fact, I do on all of my websites, 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. And there are a tiny percentage of people who will take you for a ride, who will get the product, download it, and then request a refund.
So when it comes to upsells for your business, are you in a position to do upsells to your customers?
Well, I'm working on some partnered services, that, you know, personal training, massage, weight loss.
And that will be the upsell that you'll be able to offer?
Yeah.
We did this two-way joint venture, and I think within 7 days sold £12,000 worth of the courses that I had. Did exactly the same webinar with another internet marketer on a 50-50 split, and did just about the same amount again. So they give me access to their list, they take 50% of the money that I generate, and I walk away with the other half.
So a cracking show last week, and I can tell you right now it's going to be a cracking show tonight. We were just having a quick chat here, me and Paul, and he said to me, "You keep giving the secrets away." I'll try not to, Paul, I promise you that. All right, I'll keep my trap shut and we'll just work our way through it. So what are we going to talk about tonight?
Okay, so why don't I use you as the guinea pig?
All right then.
Okay, and you said to me this is all about websites, and I'll say to you, well, why do you want a website?
Well, I want a website because I want to inform people about what I do, and I'd like, once I've informed them, I want them to pick the phone up. I want to talk to them. I want to get into their door, and I then want to sell them product.
Okay, I would say that you actually need to step up a level a little bit, because actually you probably don't want to do any of that. You want to make money. You're a businessman, right? Actually,
did I not say I want to make money? Can I say that again? I want to make money, and I want to make money from my website by people interacting with it.
Okay.
Am I going the right way now?
So you're almost there. So you want to make money. So how do you make money? Well, you have to sell product. How do you sell product? You have to communicate. Okay. So at the end of the day, this is all about communication. Mm-hmm. And to communicate, you need a marketing plan. And as part of that marketing plan, you have a website. It might be the biggest component of that marketing plan, or it might not. It really depends on your business. Yeah? If you're a taxi company, is the website the biggest thing? Or is it clean cars? Yeah, all these things are marketing.
So who decides that then? Who makes up their mind? Do you leave that very much for the client to decide? Or is that, because so often as a business we're inward looking, aren't we? And you are looking in from the outside.
Absolutely. Now, as web designers, as marketing professionals, we don't know your business. There's only you that know your business. You have the experience, you have the stories. And actually, this is what this is all about. It's about stories. So you have stories about your credibility, the good service you provided, testimonials. All of these things need to come out. And once you extract all of those, you've got the raw materials for a website. Just like building a conservatory, get all the raw materials aligned, and then we can start constructing it. It's not about technobabble. It's not about XYZ technology. It's about what's right for you. What hits your market.
But there must be a template out there that you in your industry use to start constructing it. I mean, for instance, I start on the home page, and I work my way through all the other pages that I'm going to be working on as the moment arrives, and then I sort the menu out afterwards. Am I doing it wrong? Is it about the words? Is it about the images or the pictures?
Okay, that is a strategy that is right for some people. Absolutely. That could be your first website. You might be an author. All you need is a blog. You don't need all these pages. So it depends on what's appropriate for you. Now, I've come along with a case study, mm-hmm. and that case study might help illustrate what I'm talking about.
All right, we're looking forward to seeing that. So the case study, give me how this all started and who the company are. Okay,
so the company is called CSC Screeding. The managing director is a guy called Spencer Warner. And this gentleman, this guy, he knows his industry inside and out. He knows all there is to know about screeding. Now, do you know anything about screeding?
Well, I know you put it on the floor.
We're actually on top of some of it, okay? Mm-hmm. So now, the problem is with screeding, it's got a specific issue in that if you get it wrong, it can cost thousands of pounds to repair. So if you've got underfloor heating, you have to dig it out, relay it. Not only that, but it can put back your building, your projects, everything can go basically belly up. So you've got to get it right. So in this situation, CSC Screeding have to communicate to the market that they can do the job. Now, there are all sorts of customers. There are big corporates. They could be screeding an airport. They could be screeding a conservatory. All these people communicate in different ways. So if you're working for a big corporate, they want to know about your health and safety. Are you wearing hard hats? Are you going to be compliant with waste and emissions and all the rest of it? So there are tick lists, there are tender documents, you name it. Big business, big problems, big issues. If you're at the other end, you're doing a conservatory, they don't want all of that. They just want to know that you can do it. And they want to know that you're not going to rip them off, that you're not some horrible company that's going to be on TV as a rip-off company. So different audiences need different messages.
But I mean, that must be very difficult for a single website to achieve all of that, surely. I mean, you're in this position. I mean, if we look at the website that's here now, I mean, here we've got the website, and you know, at the moment, looking at that, it looks like it's just targeting a single audience. If I was somebody that was going to that website and I was looking at it for the first time, that does look like it's for the hard hat industry.
Oh, absolutely. And this is where you have to look at the client's main business. That's where the main business is. But they don't want to lose out other sections of the business.
So how do you attract them?
So what you do is you construct that site so that you can easily get to all of those areas. So if I take you to the home page.
Okay then.
So the point of entry, you will see that there are big buttons that clearly address each market area.
All right.
So you can see at the top end of the market, they've got
here it comes. Right. Yes.
the contractor screed. So the name says what it does on the tin. They're working on big contracts, big buildings, big sites. And then you've got the builders who are mid-market. They get the same level of service as the big guys, but without the hassle. And then finally, you've got the home market, the domestic market. And there you'll see an image with nice feet. And we're not into the hard hats. It's all about how nice your home's going to be. It's a dream. Yeah?
So it's aspirational, isn't it?
It's
so
aspirational.
it's classic selling, what we're talking about here. You've got 3 different audiences, and what you're doing, you're actually putting the hotkeys into it, so that effectively, when they go onto their appropriate page, they feel some emotional connection with it.
Absolutely, and we've not even talked about technology, have we? So we've talked about the client and the target markets. So now you can turn that into a piece of technology. Initially, when we talked about coming on your show, it was to talk about WordPress. So in this instance, the client is using WordPress, and they're using something called microsites. Yeah? So if I take you to, for example, the home microsite.
Now, I think this is amazing, the fact that what we've effectively got here are 3 websites inside a single website.
Absolutely. But the outsider doesn't necessarily see that. We, as the builders, will know that. We'll know what raw materials we've used, but we try and make that an easy experience for the user. So now you'll see the images have completely changed.
It's a lot softer, more colour in them as well, yes.
Yeah, and what do people want to look at? They want to look at galleries of nice houses and nice setups.
So when we've got something like that and we're communicating with our 3 different sectors of our audience, how do we go about then actually maybe collecting names and making it work for us? I see we've got the telephone number on the top of it, and just recently we've been doing a little bit of research, and there was a few people we were trying to contact who first don't put their telephone number on it, make it incredibly difficult for you to contact them. Don't understand that websites now have to have T's and C's on them, have to have an address on them. There are a lot of illegal sites out there, aren't there?
Correct. But the main focus here is making it an easy experience. So you've worked hard to get someone to come to your website. Hopefully they've bought into your messages. So why would you let them down by making it difficult to contact them? So here on this particular site, we're using a very simple device. It's called a call me back button. And you know, if they're at work having their lunch, now isn't the time to be talking to a screening company. But if they're able to easily leave their phone number, and then they can be contacted when they're needed.
Now, I'm just wondering about what we've got there. You've got this callback button. Is there any psychology going on here? Do we ask reams of information? Because the moment somebody fills in one of these callback buttons, it is a commitment to the organisation, really, isn't it? I mean, you are looking for information, you're showing interest in it.
Yes, you are.
Is the psychology then behind what we're doing with that design, is placement on the page and things like that?
It is. If you get to the really technical level, there's something called eye tracking, and typically you'll find these elements on the website on the right-hand side. Yeah, so you do need, earlier on when I was saying you build your own website, maybe that was a little bit in tongue-in-cheek. Yes, you provide the stories and the content, but you do need people like us to help and guide you to make it an effective website. So in this case, we're using that callback form, and actually we're asking the minimum amount of information. There are studies that show that the more information you ask for, the less likely you are to get responses. So here we're just making it very easy. Give us your name, give us your number, we'll call you back, without committing them to what potentially is a marketing campaign behind. People are very aware now of identity theft, identity fraud. They don't want to be spammed. They want you to treat them reasonably. So by asking for the minimum information, we're just making that initial contact, as easy as possible.
Well, let me ask you this then. When we've got a contact form like that, there are things called autoresponders.
Yes.
Are we using an autoresponder here where you can actually put a marketing campaign together that will run automatically over a period of time? Is that what we're doing?
For this particular client, we haven't done that, but that could be done. And those sorts of automated marketing, I think the new term is inbound marketing, they're becoming more and more fashionable. Yes, I mean, those things can be done. But as a business, you then have to back that off, have your terms and conditions, be very clear about how you're going to use that data, and be very, very careful about it. So, for example, let people unsubscribe. Make sure that you're cleansing those lists, so you only keep people on those lists for a certain amount of time. So you are basically offering your business up there to be scrutinized. So if you're not respecting people's contact details, over time you're devaluing your own brand. So if you're building an ethical company, you should be dealing with your customers ethically at every single level.
I suppose this goes back to something that we said on a previous programme. It isn't about numbers, is it? It is about quality of the lead that you're getting. There's no point in having 1,000 people on the database if only 5 of them are ever going to respond to you. You may as well just target those 5 precisely with exactly what they want and forget the others.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, the best business comes from referrals. So, if you have one good customer on your list and they refer you to 10, they're actually doing the business for you, aren't you?
All right then, we've looked at the page, we've looked at the 3 different versions of it within the single website, and we've also looked at the response page that is on there. When it comes to the layout of the page, what's the psychology that's going through that, where we actually put the response forms, when we actually have the likes of the social media icons, the fact that we're using pictures? I mean, is pictures good? Is video better? Are they both the same? Do they have different jobs? I mean, when it comes to that design, because I know you do that too, where do you start with the design?
Okay, again, it's horses for courses. So people are at different stages in visiting your website. One might be an initial information gathering, so they're surfing your competitors, they're looking at your site, they're trying to understand. So something like screening, they don't know what that is, so they're trying to get an initial understanding. And then later they may come back and dig a bit deeper. Maybe, for example, in this case, there's some underfloor heating involved. So can this company deal with underfloor heating? And in that case, they will dive in deeper and deeper and deeper. So you've got to think of all the different scenarios. So some people will only come for a phone number. So why wouldn't you have the phone number on the homepage? So you're going to have people that will spend 30 seconds, some people that will do their research. And if you look at the statistics, the analytics, you'll see that some people spend minutes, half an hour, maybe an hour, just going through your site. So yes, you need images, yes, you need text, and you've got to balance that. You've got to make it informative. Give them what they're looking for. People generally don't want to be pestered, hassled. They want to be free to choose. And if you can give them something that they can enjoy, find out about something, then they're much more likely to trust you as an organisation.
What about what would you say to organisations who really don't get the whole concept of what the website is trying to do, the fact that it is trying to actually support the character of the business, and really are looking for nothing more than a brochure? Is it just wasted effort?
No, it's not. Every business has its life cycle. So if a business is very established, you may find that all of the work comes through referrals. So they don't see the need to develop a website. Other businesses are growing quite aggressively, and they will wake up. Something will happen, something will get mentioned, and suddenly they get it. And it's when they get that wake-up call, then they're usually all over us. They're wanting us to do X, Y, Z, get the latest widget and all the rest of it. So it's all about the right website, the right marketing strategy, the right communication, depending on where you are, where you're going. At the end of the day, each business has its own path. Some are mature, some are growing, some are young, and it depends on your customers, what your customers are looking for.
What do you think is the most important element then when it comes to putting this together? What is the most important thing about the website? Is it the words?
It's the concepts, it's the ideas, it's the passion of the business, it's what they're trying to communicate. And depending on what they're trying to communicate, you then come up with a plan. I can give you an example with some content. Can I show you something else?
You can. I'll tell you what, you sort out the content, and I think what we'll do is that we'll give you a bit of a breather as well, so you can have a little bit of water. Tell you what, time for us to actually have a look at what's going on around the country as well, for that matter. Last week, you might remember that, of course, the Labour Party were having their conference. This week it is the turn of the Conservatives. What have they been up to? We'll be finding out in just a moment or so. Also, what other business news is out there at the present time? Who's doing what and where are they doing it? If you want to find out a little bit more, it's time for the Business Connections Live News with Linda Bezant.
And here's the business news this week. I'm Linda Bezant. This week has seen the last of the party get-togethers, with the Conservatives holding their party conference in Manchester. Following on from Labour's promise to freeze gas and electricity prices, George Osborne, the Chancellor, has promised to try and freeze the fuel duty escalator introduced by the last Labour government until the election of 2015, providing he can find the money, he says. Some of the other announcements from the conference included the long-term unemployed will have to undertake longer working placements in return for their benefits under a new Help to Work scheme. In his closing speech to the conference, David Cameron promised to create a land of opportunity and says profits, tax cuts and enterprise are not dirty elitist words. Putting his party firmly on the side of business, he also promised to make the UK a land of opportunity. He said that at long last, and for the first time ever, people will be able to make it wherever they live and whatever their background. Two of our big supermarkets have reported their latest trading figures today. Tesco has reported a 23.5% drop in profits during the first half of its financial year. Tesco's pre-tax profits in the 6 months to 24th of August were 1.39 billion, with UK trading profit up 1.5% to 1.13 billion. Meanwhile, rival Sainsbury's reported a 2% rise in like-for-like sales during the second quarter of its financial year. Sainsbury's online grocery sales rose by more than 15% in its second quarter, while convenience store sales rose 20%. And still on supermarkets, Aldi saw UK pre-tax profits surge to 124% to 157.9 million in 2012, with the company saying it attracted 1 million more shoppers through its doors. And some more encouraging UK economy figures. This week, UK manufacturing grew for the 6th consecutive month in September. A survey has indicated and recorded its strongest quarterly performance for 2.5 years. And the number of mortgage approvals rose to a 5.5-year high in August, according to the Bank of England. However, lending to businesses has plunged by the biggest amount since the end of last year, with vital funds failing to trickle down to credit-starved small and medium-sized enterprises, despite recent improvements in the wider economy. New figures from the Bank of England published yesterday showed that net lending to firms fell by 3.8 billion in August, the sharpest fall since December. In other news, the national minimum wage for adults increased by 12p an hour to £6.31 from the 1st of October. The rise, first announced in April of this year, follows the recommendations of the Independent Low Pay Commission. The rate for 18 to 20-year-olds has increased by 5p to £5.03 an hour, while it has gone up by 4p to £3.72 for the 16 to 17-year-old age group. If you have any comments or views on these or any other business stories, please let us know by contacting us here at Business Connections Live.
And my thanks to Linda for that. And Linda will be back with some technology news a little bit later on. Please do contact us. You can go to, if you are watching this, for instance, on YouTube, you can sign up as a subscriber. A lot of people have been asking me, what does that mean? Is it going to cost me any money? No, it isn't going to cost you any money. If you become a subscriber to the channel on YouTube, what happens is YouTube just let you know when there's another posting of another program. It just makes certain that you don't miss anything. So make certain you go to YouTube, do sign up, do subscribe to it, and you'll find all the programs there archived on there. Or you can go to the website, you'll find out a little bit about our guests, and also you'll find out a little bit about us. And that is a frightening thought, isn't it? And you can always email us, and you can Skype in. And of course, there is the pop-out a little board that's sitting there as well, our chat room. If you want to go to the chat room, have a bit of a chat with like-minded people, then please do be our guests. You're watching Business Connections Live. This is program number 3. I'm Steve Hyland. With me is Paul Imrie. Paul, really interesting what we're talking about. We kind of left off a minute or so ago talking about the difference, how important words are, how important pictures are. I suppose at the end of the day, it's all down to what you're trying to get over and what information you're trying to impart on your client.
Absolutely. And if we can refer to this next case study, it's one of our clients. The company is called the Hulse Group. They have a product called the psychometric system, the McQuaig psychometric system. Now, those words are very technical and difficult to understand. So if you're trying to sell something like that, immediately you've got barriers. So it's a question of, do you use words, do you use pictures, do you use images? Well, the answer is actually you use those together in the form of an infographic. So if we could
that's what we've got there, an infographic.
If we take a look at this,
smarter people
decisions. So the idea is that if you employ good people, your business will do well. Okay. But how do you find the good people? You know, we've all been in interviews where a gut instinct decision has been made and you've either got the job or you haven't. So this system came about during the Second World War. I think it was a Canadian system. They wanted to find out who made good fighter pilots. So they came up with a system based on psychology, and it's been adapted and it's been turned into a business tool. So when you're interviewing people, you give them various tests and it gives you a profile. Now, that's a very complicated way of saying...
Well, it's a very complicated concept.
Very complicated concept,
isn't it?
but it's also a very complicated way of saying is we'll help you find smarter people, people who are prepared to do your work. They're looking to you and they want a career with you. Yeah, some people may come in, but the job is not adapted to them and then they leave. And so what are the costs of hiring people? Yep,
I think we've all been there. I think I remember once hiring somebody and it was probably a very big mistake. Hope he's not watching. She's not watching. He's not watching.
We've all been there. That's true. So again, the point I'm making here is, yes, you do need text. You do need to explain and do your testimonials and all the rest of it. And yes, you do need pictures to reassure people that they've come to the right place. But sometimes you've got to communicate concepts. And so infographics, it's worth spending a little bit of money getting it drawn up properly. Again, these people won't be able to draw the diagrams until you give them the IP, until you explain to them what you want to have in those pictures. But a picture paints an image, 1,000 words or whatever it is. Yeah.
But it's a case, once again, isn't it, of finding somebody like yourself who, and you must actually have to get inside the business's head to really realise what they're trying to achieve with the graphics and with the words and the text and the message that they're trying to get over. I suppose at one stage along the whole process of putting your website together, somebody somewhere has got to sort of say, this is actually our primary directive, this is what we want to achieve. And who is that? Is that me, the business owner, or is that you, the web developer?
Okay, I would say it's a question of partnership. So you come along with the business story, you know you want to do something, you want more money, because you said that earlier on.
Yeah, we like more money.
Yeah,
money's good.
Want more customers. And there's also an element of self-service. So instead of customers always phoning you up for common problems, they can find out things for themselves. So there are different business objectives. Yeah. And so then, really, if you could work with someone in partnership, and I would say to anyone out there, don't treat your web designer as a utility, work with them. Spend the time up front thinking about it. Don't dive straight into a website. I mean, the easiest thing to do would be to have a look at a website and say, I want that, I want that.
I want one like,
I want one like that. The thing is, you don't know their journey, you don't know where they came from, you don't know what they're trying to achieve. So why would you do that?
So is there a checklist then that we should say to our viewers right now, if you are thinking about, maybe even to step back for a moment, look at their own existing website, is there a checklist that they should be going through in their mind's eye
Yes.
before they either A, see you, or B, look at their own website tomorrow morning or whenever they're going to look at it later today and they go, that's not right, not very happy with that, I can see why it's not working. I can see, I mean, I can maybe double my sales if I was to change this, change that.
Yes, I would say forget about the website, yeah? Because you're not saying I need to change my email marketing, I need to change my phone communications. You're not saying any of that. I need to paint my vehicles. I need my signage changed. You're not saying any of that, but they all need doing. They all need to be consistent. They all need to tell the same story. It's all about branding, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So why do people focus on the website? Yeah, if you change your sign...
I think the reason is, isn't it, is that the vehicle that you paint is driving up and down the M1, so you only perceive it as being seen by a few drivers driving up the M1 with you. And I think there is this concept perhaps that if you put a website together and it's online and it's on the World Wide Web, that the world is going to see you. And maybe that's where they're coming from. Perhaps.
Okay, but the world isn't going to buy from you. They have to have a compelling reason. Why would I buy from you? I don't know you from Adam. Why would I buy from you? You've got to communicate to me that you are someone I would trust and I would buy from you.
So what are the questions you ask your clients when they walk in? Are those the questions that you ask?
Absolutely. Why do you want it? What are you trying to achieve? Your branding. Start with your branding. Get that right. Because the branding is the first piece of communication. It's on your business cards, compliment slips, your invoices. Your invoices are a piece of communication.
I mean, it's very interesting, this conversation, because it's gone in a completely different direction from where I imagined it would go. I thought
it's
you were
not
going to
rocket science. It isn't, and that's the problem. Maybe because websites, it's my generation, the young people, the geek people, they've come along and talk technobabble, and business people are lost. Yeah?
I mean, we see a lot of that, don't we, where particular industries are driven by the technology. We've seen that with smart television. They did some research on that and they said what people want to do with their smart TVs is, surprise, surprise, watch television. They don't actually want all the other features. What they want is a great picture and great sound, and the rest of it actually is quite superfluous to the whole thing. So I suppose it's a little bit of that, isn't it? You're kind of narrow looking, if there's such an expression.
Absolutely. It's telling a story. You know, you've been
selling the sizzle.
You've been in business for I don't know how many years. So your logo will start off by setting a perception, and then you keep building. You tell the story.
So let's go back to the website then that we were looking at earlier on, the psychometric system that we've got there. As you said, it's a very, very complicated system anyway. What are they trying to achieve by that page, from its layout, from the way it looks, from the graphics that are on there? Are they trying to get someone to pick up the phone and give them a call? I'm just looking at telephone numbers at the top. Are they looking to get someone to fill in a form? I mean, is that, and are they important elements? And for instance, the scrolling text that's sitting down the side, the quotes, I take it they're quotes, they're recommendations, they're testimonials from existing clients who are saying just how good they are. So how is that page working that we're looking at there?
Okay, I mean, you have to sort of get into the business's position. So when they're selling a product, so they will interview candidates. So the candidates will probably be in a state of shock, thinking, oh no, I've got a psychometric test. What is a psychometric test? So there will be resources there for the candidates so that they can reassure themselves and not panic. Then there will be resources for the people who are going to use the psychometric system. So we're not selling at any point, we are supporting the products. So different parts of the sites will be constructed to support the product, that customer service thing. And also, we're trying to recruit new customers. So then there has to be a selling element. So you have to map that out. You have to draw paths, if you like, through the website and provide those bits of content at different stages.
Do you think all web development companies have this, are like you, have the same mantra? Or is it very much a case that there are different tiers? You can go to some companies and say, I want a website. They'll go, certainly, how many pages would you like then? And off they go.
But that's the same in any industry. Now, if you look around, there are successful websites. It's not alchemy. It's not magic. So I have peers, I have competitors, there are others, there are best practices. All you've got to do is go onto Twitter and you will find some of the leading lights in the web industry. So there are processes, procedures to constructing sites. Any consulting business, you know, if I'm going to remodel your business, process engineering, all the rest of it, they don't come and do it. They talk to you first. They find out, what are you trying to do? What are the pain points? So none of this is new. None of it is miraculous. It's really, at the end of the day, it's common sense. You, Mr. Customer, where are you going? Now, if you are one of these hard-nosed business people that says, I want a website, I don't want it expensive, I just want it to look like that, that's what you'll get. Yeah? But if you're prepared to look for people who will work with you in partnership, and you ask around, then you will find. Some of my competitors are like that. Yeah? You will find those people. So in your selection of supplier, you have to say, right, who do I want? And actually, at the end of the day, if you can talk to them, you're halfway there. If they're prepared to listen to you, you're halfway there.
So then, it's about communicating, it's about identifying what you want the website to actually do. You've got to make certain that it's part of your overall marketing plan.
Correct.
And what about budgets? Do you have to think about budgets when it comes to this?
Okay, again, we're talking about WordPress, so WordPress costs $0. You can go to the WordPress provided site, and if all you need is a holding page and a couple of pages, you can get a website for free. It doesn't cost you a penny.
So why do I come to you then? Is it because of everything we've talked about for the last 40 minutes?
At some point, you wake up and you realise that you need to do something else, something different. You need to increase your sales, you need to change products, you are changing your branding. Again, every business is on a journey. So a startup, someone who is, I don't know, just wants a contact point, a phone number, email address, all that sort of stuff, maybe all they need is a single page. Quite often we have startups, and the first thing we say to them is, be very careful. You might construct a white elephant, go into market, in the heat of battle, find that actually your customers want something completely different. So you may have built a website that is entirely inappropriate to your market. So why not go stage by stage? Why not just go with a single page or 2 or 3 pages? Why not have a single page with some downloadable brochures? Put some white papers up there, see what happens. So every business has the stages they go through, and there will be a solution that's adapted to exactly what you need to do.
There are these techniques, and there are people that say that the website should be there to collect names, and we looked on the previous side that that's what it was doing. What about when it comes to enticing people to actually leave you their names? Get this free report, this free white paper, the 10 greatest tips to do this, that and the other. Is that a legitimate, sensible way of actually encouraging people to leave their names, or are you just increasing the amount of wasted time with your traffic?
No, those are certainly very legitimate ways of operating, as long as they're done ethically, as long as you're not selling the data, you're respecting data protection, you allow people, there's a whole bunch of things that you need to do. And again, it's back to your customers. What are they doing? Are they in some sort of buying cycle? Are they researching? So they will dip into the internet, they will look at your site, they'll look at someone else's site, and they will make their decision. At some point they will buy. Now let's take a sofa.
Nearly.
Now if I get to you with my offer of a sofa before you need it, before the cat has peed on it, you're not interested. Yeah? If I get to you after you've bought the sofa, that's no good either. So I must get to you with my messages when you're looking for a sofa.
It's actually getting there at that point of contact, that exactly the right
and that
time.
is traditional marketing. You have to be there again and again and again, so that when I'm ready for that decision, you're there. I'm ready to listen to your messages about your discounts and all the rest of it.
All right, so that's looking at the success of the way the actual site is working, because it's actually working, it's there all the time, so it's constantly selling. But you said a moment or so ago, you look at your website and you look at another website. How do you know if you've got a successful website? How do you go about looking at it? How do you go about making certain it is successful? And then if it isn't working as well as you think it is, but it's got all the content on it, these magic words then come up where you search engine optimization, SEOing your website.
Okay, and I'm going to throw that one straight back to you.
Right.
If you've got a website full of errors, wrong information, wrong specifications, would you want that to be the #1 website in the world?
No, sir.
Why not, sir?
Well, because they obviously don't look like they've got attention to detail, they don't look like they know what they're doing, and the most fundamental of things they can't do.
And you will have communicated to these people that this is a company that you do not want to work with. And they'll remember that. So optimize your site, but don't optimize at any cost for anything.
Can we talk a little bit more about it in just a moment?
Yep, sure.
And we'll talk a little bit more about this site as well, because what we're going to do right now is pick up on what's happening in the world of technology around the world. You've probably got yourself an iPhone. Last week we were talking about the fact that we had iOS 7. That was the update. We're now on to, I think it's iOS 7.2, if my memory says, or 7.0.2, or something like that. But why is this all happening? Are we all now guinea pigs for that large multinational organisation that produce? We are beta trialers, aren't we? That's what's actually happening to us. Let's find out what's happening, though, in the rest of the world of technology right now. With the latest technology news, here's Linda Bazant.
And in technology news this week, a number of US government websites and Twitter feeds have been suspended due to a partial US government shutdown. Among those affected were NASA, whose website was unavailable as non-essential services were closed. We spoke last week about the release of Apple's new iPhone models, the 5C and 5S. This week there is news that the new operating system, iOS 7, had a software update to overcome some security issues. As if that was not enough, another update is on its way next week. Have you got your superfast phone? A superfast network to go with it would be nice, if of course you've managed to use it. Let us know here at Business Connections Live. A new feature allowing Facebook users to edit their status updates may result in problems, an expert has warned. Previously, an update would have to be deleted and reposted with any changes, losing any comments and likes. But the new capability, introduced to help users correct spelling and grammatical errors, means posts can be modified and their content changed. Facebook users who liked or interacted with the original post are not notified of any changes made. A spokesman for Facebook explained that the update was intended to help people address typos or autocorrect errors, but wouldn't comment on the potential vulnerabilities. And if you have any comments on technology, please contact us here at Business Connections Live. We'd love to hear your views.
You're watching Business Connections Live. It's programme number 3. My name's Steve Hyland. Great to have your company with us. My guest this evening is Paul Imrie. We're talking websites. When we started talking about this and putting this programme together, I thought it was going to be tutorials on WordPress and Dreamweaver. Very rapidly that changed. Very rapidly it became something a little bit different, because it's all about thinking about what you should be doing when it comes to the content that goes onto your website, how you want your customers to interact with you. I suppose it's all about selling the sizzle, the old selling phrase, because, you know, they say everything is marketing, and marketing, as they say, is absolutely everything. And the website is just one small part of your marketing. It goes along with sales, because that's a pretty important bit too. And then at the end of it, it's all about making money, getting money there in the bottom right-hand corner on your balance sheets. And while we're talking about sales, next week's guest is going to be Ben Kench. Now, Ben is the author of Sales for Dummies. I've seen this guy in action. He is absolutely incredible, absolutely electrifying. And if you are interested in how you go about doing sales, how you do that cold call, how you walk into somebody's reception, how you convert somebody who's got interest into a client for the future and for years to come, then Ben's going to be the guy that you need to be watching. Also, if you are down in the Surrey area, in Woking in fact, he's going to be at the Woking for Business exhibition, and that's going to be on Wednesday the 9th of October. And in fact, we're going to be there as well with the camera, so we're going to be strolling around. If you are going to the exhibition, watch out for us. And also do try, if you can, to see Ben in one of his presentations. But if you miss him there, he's going to be here live on the programme next week on Business Connections Live. But with me right now, as I said, we've got Paul Imrie. I must say, actually, the way we actually came out, we had an issue with our website and Paul's already given me his general opinion about how good our site is, or not, as the case may be. But it's doing a job for us. It's telling a story, and Paul was very kind to do a little bit of work on it for us. Paul, let's look at some takeaways for our viewers this evening, and maybe just sort of finish off the SEOing of sites. You said that really you can pretty much do the SEOing yourself, and maybe there are a lot of people out there. You likened it to going to the dentist. You know he's doing something in your mouth, but you don't know whether it's right or wrong, and you don't know what he's doing anyway.
Yes, I think in our experience, because we'd like to partner with these types of companies, it's been very difficult to find ethical companies. I'm not saying there are no ethical companies out there, but it's been very difficult because at the end of the day, these people have to make money. Yeah, and the important thing to remember is, what does Google want? Google wants quality websites, quality search results. So if you've employed a search engine optimization company and they get you to the top, because that's what they say, get you to the top, and your website isn't quality, what that means is Google has presented to your potential customers websites that don't work in terms of grammar, data, information, you name it, that don't work. So it devalues Google because Google is serving up rubbish. So Google inherently wants to find quality websites. That's what it wants. They say so on their website. They give you a list of things that you should be doing. It's not about search engine optimization. It's about making your site search engine friendly.
Because it does sound like a black art, doesn't it? Search engine optimization.
Absolutely.
There must be some very special tools for that.
And in the past, that's exactly what happened. There was a thing called black hat. You could do X, Y, Z, and you would get to the top. Now, slowly, Google has shut down those rules. The rules are constantly evolving. But at the end of the day, Google wants quality. And what does quality mean? It means content. It wants to see you as a subject matter expert. And if you're in business, you're offering a service, you should be there offering value to your customers. What do we mean by value? You can do something that they can't, and you can do it better than anyone else. So if you're a thought leader, you're good at what you're doing, and all you do on your website is say that. You put the testimonials in, put the case studies in, talk about your subject, give away some of your IP, do X, Y, Z, save yourself some money, show your expertise. Over time, Google will recognize that. Not immediately, but over time you will go up. And it's not a big bang thing either. It isn't about get a brand new website and get to the top. It's slowly but surely. You built your business step by step. It's the same with a website. A website reflects your business. Build it step by step. Talk about your successes. Talk about your customer satisfaction. Don't be scared if there are issues and problems. If you don't talk about the issues and problems, someone else will. They'll go to Twitter. Yeah? If you've got remedies, put them up there. Help your customers. Offer them guides. Why not?
Is there sometimes this whole thing about maybe holding some of it back? Because once again, we're always hungry, aren't we, to get the people to contact us. So we'll tell you nearly all of it except for the last bit. You know, the real close.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's an adult world. You obviously cannot give away all of your intellectual property because your competitors will love you for that, yeah, and they will exploit you. You obviously cannot do that. So it's a fine balance. You have to give away just enough to make them realise that you know what you're talking about. Who would you want to deal with? A brain surgeon who knows what they're doing, or one that doesn't? Who are you going to choose?
I like the one that actually knows what he's doing.
Absolutely. And you've got to...
Because I think I got the other guy the first time round.
So you've got to convince people, haven't you? So that's where it comes back to.
So there is no magic then around SEOing. The magic around it is getting it right.
Getting it right. I mean, there are techniques. I'd be lying if I said to you there aren't things that you can do to boost it. Yeah? There will always be things that you can do. But if you look at the 80-20 rule, get the website right first. You're already getting traffic. Are those people calling you? Yes or no? If they're not, then there's something wrong. So get that right first, and then over time, work at it, not the big bang, keep adding content, add blog posts. Those blog posts will do wonders. And we're back to WordPress now, because WordPress is fantastic at that. For getting your blog posts out there. And they will, because of, I don't know if this is magic or not, through RSS feeds, whatever, technobabble, blah, 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 babble, But Google loves fresh content. So if you're up there putting case studies, you're talking about techniques, new products and things, they will get up there automatically.
So when you look then at somebody who comes into you, do you say to them, for your website, you're going to need a homepage, tell the people what you do in plain English, put a response form on there so that people can contact you if they want to. If you've got testimonials, I mean, they're very important in all the industries I've worked in. A testimonial says a multitude about you because it's a client that's already been very happy with what you've done. Do you then say to them the things that are important are, put a blog on there, do social networking?
Yes.
Is that the way it's all moved forward now, that it really is that interactive kind of content that's important? I mean, I've heard that if you do social networking, if you do the blog content, and you do video as well, I mean, you've really got it pretty much thrown down, haven't you?
I mean, all of those are important. The way to think about social media is telephone versus fax. You go back a few years, you would have both, wouldn't you? Mm-hmm. So you've got to be doing all of those at the right time. So what's the point in doing social media if you don't have the stories to tell, if you haven't prepared your stories? So if you get those stories ready, you can then go onto social media and promote them. It's just an amplifier, like a loud hailer. They'll go further, more people will find them. But at some point, they come back to your website. So don't disappoint them.
So that is all about driving the traffic, isn't it?
It's driving the traffic. But when they come back, are they going to make contact with you? And again, if you give them a poor experience, no, you're going to disappoint them.
So what would you say to these to people who have maybe spent the money in, I can think of the product's name, I'm just trying to think of a way of describing it. I mean, there are programs out there that will drive traffic to your website. Is that the wrong way of doing it? Is it very much a case of you're just increasing footfall to your website, but you're not increasing the number of people who are going to convert when they come to your website? And how do we measure, I asked the question earlier on, how do you measure a successful website? Is it the footfall? Is it the conversions? Is it the number of inquiries? I mean, what are people looking for?
Okay, again, that is specifically down to your business. Yeah. If, again, going back to McQuaig, if it's the candidate panicking about his interview, he's not going to buy from you. Mm-hmm. Yeah? But you are validating your product, you're providing information. That candidate can be reassured. They're not going to panic. They're not going to think bad about the company that's going to give them that psychometric test. So that's a very specific requirement, and the website is there to answer that. If you go to the IKEA website, they've got a kitchen design tool. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. It's not actually selling anything, but you get into a dream world, you're designing your kitchen, doing all the colours, so that you're in a position to go and buy. So at the end of the day, it's all about sales, customer care, customer service. It doesn't look like sales, but you stop customers leaking, you retain customers. So effectively, you're avoiding having to get new customers. So it's all about positioning you as the company, how you do business, how you look after people. You just amplify and make it available for people to find out. They don't have to second guess. The thing is, if you don't do that, other people will. So this is your opportunity to speak to the market and say, yeah, we are good. We are good at what we do.
Well, if you had maybe 3 or 4 takeaways then for our viewers this evening, what do you think the takeaways would be? What would be the core things that you would say to them that they really, before they go off and they pick the phone up and they talk to somebody like yourself, just to reiterate and to remind them what the core things are that they should be doing prior to building the most successful website that's ever been built in the whole world? What would you say to them?
Okay, first thing is, don't panic. Okay, so if you are in a mode of panic and your thinking is not clear, the website will reflect that. So you'll have a panicky website with mumbo jumbo and jumble. So number one, get your head into the right place. Think about your business. You know your business. You're driving your business. You know where you need to go. You know what products you need to achieve. Again, CSE screening, they thought about the segmentation of their market. Mm-hmm. They knew that if they went to certain sectors of the market, they had to deliver in a certain way. Okay, so that is a business driver, business imperative. Have those things clear in your head, then you're ready to start building a website. So even before you speak to guys like myself, we can help you, we can extract that. You probably need to, I don't know, have a moment of zen probably, just clear business thinking. Richard Branson used to go off to an island somewhere and sit in a hammock. The most productive time, being in a hammock, thinking about the business.
So really it is, it's a case of sitting back, reflecting on what you want to achieve with your website, and then sometimes trying to take that view of your business and the operation that you've got, looking from outside, looking in. What do the customers want?
Absolutely.
What information do they need from you?
Classic example. Sales teams get constantly asked, can I have this brochure? Can I have your yellow kitchen? I can't find your yellow kitchen. Put that up there somewhere prominent. If that's what people are looking for, let them have it. But again, that is a business requirement, isn't it? If you're constantly getting these calls, you'd be thinking, hold a minute, there's an opportunity here. Why don't we explore that a bit further? Let's make a microsite, or whatever it is. There's a business imperative to be explored and thought about.
All right. I'm completely sold on what you've said, and it completely changed my complete opinion, also my approach as well, I think, to website design and things like that. And I must, from my own point of view, I'm going to be going away with some takeaways. If people want to get in touch with you, if people want to contact you, if they want to find out a little bit more about yourself and what you can do for them,
Sure.
Where should they contact you?
Please go and have a look at our website, www.I for India, M for Mother, R for Roger, E for Echo.co.uk, imri.co.uk.
Very good. And how many people are actually within the organisation?
At the moment...
Of your team, I mean, how big's the team?
Yeah, I mean, we work, roughly the team with all the various people involved is about 7-8 people.
And I must admit, the work you did for us, I was absolutely amazed. You were very quick. Everybody was so helpful, that was the other thing. And also the way that you manage your projects. Typically, maybe we'll finish off on this, typically, if I do come to you on a Thursday and I say that I actually want a website, how long am I looking at before I get it up on the air? Is that down to me, or is that down to you, or is it down to us?
It's how long is a piece of string? I mean,
27.5 inches, I measured it once.
If it's just your contact details, that can be done straight away. But if it's something more complicated, can we extract it from your head? Do you know where you're going? Do you know what you're trying to achieve?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's been absolutely fascinating talking to you this evening, so thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.
Paul Imrie, it's been an absolutely fascinating hour. As I said, when we started off, we were going to be looking at the likes of WordPress and Dreamweaver, and when Paul turned up, he said, actually, there is more to your website than just looking at the technology that delivers it. What you're looking at is you're actually looking at the story that you're trying to sell. So what story is your business trying to sell? And who are you trying to attract with that story? Identify them, and perhaps maybe when it comes to designing your website, the whole thing will just slot together and give you something that is actually going to make you money, because at the very beginning of this program, that's what we said. It's about making money. Tell you what, we'll see you at the exhibition in Woking on the 9th of October. Ben Kench is going to be there. He's going to be joining me in the studio next week. But from all the team here, I'd like to thank you very much indeed for watching. Keep those tweets coming in. Go onto our Twitter account, and also go onto our blog account as well. But from me, Steve Harland, and Paul, it's bye for now. Bye-bye.